This North Point.
Welcome to North Point. Today we have Mr. Stenning, who is our head of school. He has been with us for over 2 years and is a fan of curry. Is that right, Mr. Stenning?
A fan of what did you just say?
Curry.
Oh, curry. I thought, yes, I do love curry, Everett. Yeah, how did you know?
I have secrets.
Oh, Emilio told you, I see.
So, who would you say inspires you and why?
Who do I think inspires me and why? That is a good question. Lots of people. I think J.K. Rowling might have been inspiration. I think she's inspired a whole generation of young readers. You might have heard of someone called Malala Yousafzai, who is an inspiration, who has ensured girls all over the world receive an education. And also, I think for me, as some of you might know, or Emilio knows, I'm a big fan of running. And someone called Eliud Kipchoge is quite a big inspiration for me. He's someone who's, I think, determined, who doesn't let winning get to his head, and he really believes in the impossible. So there's 3 people for you.
Who would you say inspires the most out of those 3 people?
Well, I think they all have slightly different reasons why they inspire me. But I think given my own personal interests, I'd probably go for Eliud Kipchoge.
Yes. And does David Williams is inspired you?
Yes, I suppose he does. He's written some fantastic books, hasn't he? So, yes, we can add David Williams into my list of inspirational people too.
Tell us about your journey becoming a head teacher.
My journey to becoming a head teacher. Well, so I began my teaching career in a secondary school, in a grammar school. I taught economics in a grammar school and at Highgate School, where some of you might have siblings. And I then became a deputy head teacher at Northbridge House Senior. I was in charge of the curriculum and all the clubs and societies and working with lots of pupils. And I really enjoyed whole school leadership. And then when I found out about the position at Northbridge House Prep School, I thought it's something I really want to do. It was a school I knew lots about. I'd heard great things about their wonderful pupils, the amazing teachers, and it's a real privilege to be the head teacher of the school.
Have you ever competed in sports?
I have, yes. I have competed in lots of marathons and half marathons all over the world. As you will know, Emilio, from our early morning running club, I like running, and it takes me to all sorts of parts of the globe. I've competed in races in Sierra Leone and North Korea and Australia. And one thing for me about lockdown is I haven't been able to take part in many running races because you can't. So I'm really looking forward to my first one in about 3 weeks' time in Devon.
Attributes are important as a leader.
That's a really good question. What attributes are important as a leader? And I think I would say honesty, integrity are 2 important characteristics. I'd probably say someone who is committed and passionate about what they do. And I think really, how can I perhaps sum it up? I guess a leader is someone who knows the way, who goes the way, and shows the way.
You may be aware that I have a stammer. Would you mind sharing any tips for people who also have a stammer?
Well, Cassidy, I used to have quite a bad stammer when I was at school, and it affected my confidence a bit. But what I found, some tips that helped me deal with it, were to speak slowly, to try and speak as slowly as possible, to try and avoid certain trigger words. And actually I found meditation in the morning, just a gentle meditation, also helped.
When you were younger, did you ever enjoy getting homework?
Did I enjoy getting homework? Says Amelia with a big grin across his face. If I answer honestly, I didn't enjoy getting homework, no. But I know that homework is important.
And if you was a really nice head teacher...
If I was.
Could you cut off our homework for the rest of the term?
Well, that's an interesting question. Technically, I could cut... I said technically, I could cut your homework off for the term. But actually, would I be doing you a disservice if I did that? Because actually, you would end up not doing quite as well as you might be able to do. So I think... no, I won't be cutting off your homework for the rest of the term. Sorry.
It's okay.
You'll thank me for it eventually.
Can you honestly tell us, did you ever misbehave at school?
Did I ever misbehave at school? Would I be the sort of person to misbehave at school? Not really. I was actually very good at school. And the reason I was so good at school was partly because I had such a scary headmaster. And it was someone called Mr. Usher Wilson. And he had a monocle. Do you know what a monocle is? It's almost like a sort of glass in one eye. And it made him look so scary. I was too terrified to misbehave.
Like in Harry Potter.
A bit like that, yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Can you tell us your favourite joke or riddle?
My favourite joke or riddle. Why was 6 afraid of 7? Who knows that one?
Me.
Go on.
Because 7, 8, 9.
Exactly, because 7, 8, 9. And how about why did the student eat his homework? Why did the student eat his homework?
Random guess, he didn't want to do it.
No.
Because Mr. Stenning set him homework.
No. Because the teacher said it was a piece of cake. I'm glad you were laughing. Better than not laughing at my joke.
What is your pet peeve?
My pet peeve? One of my pet peeves is when people keep saying the word literally. I literally did this, I literally did that, I literally can't do my homework. And people use the word literally all the time. And my other pet peeve is I can't stand polystyrene or styrofoam, especially when people rub it together. It just makes me want to cringe and I can't deal with it. Emilio?
And do you dislike people that keep on saying like?
I don't dislike people who keep on saying that, but I think it's not dissimilar. Maybe it might be a pet peeve, let's say. A bit like literally. If I could be or do anything else, what would it be? That's a tough one. I really like being a teacher, but I think if I were to do something else, I would love to be a pilot. And I wonder if some of you guys might want to be pilots too. And I love aeroplanes, and I love flying around the world. So I would love to be a pilot. All these hands up, Cassidy.
What type of plane would you want to fly?
What type of plane would I want to fly? Well, I used to like the 747s. Well, I still do, but they're going out of service. Or the A380, perhaps. What would you want to fly?
Maybe like fighter jets.
Fighter jets. Now I'm asking you the questions. It's the wrong way around, isn't it? Martha.
I'm coming back to how you like J.K. Rowling. My dad's reading a book, and it's one of her books, but she's under a male name.
Yeah.
I forgot the name. I think it's Robert something else. But he'd asked me, "Do you know who the writer of this book is?" And I said the writer that says it on the name. And he said this is she did it undercover a couple of years ago. And I thought it was one of the sisters, but he told me it was J.K. Rowling, and that was really interesting to know.
Why do you think J.K. Rowling used a pseudonym or another name?
Because back in the times, it wasn't really popular for a girl to write books.
I think that's why she used J.K. so no one knew the gender of the writer, wasn't it? Yeah.
Would you prefer flying people or cargo?
Would I prefer flying people or cargo? I don't think I really mind, to be honest. People might feel a bit more special transporting, I guess people is cargo, but it's more precious cargo, isn't it, as people?
And when you were the pilot, who would your partner be? It could be anyone in the world, even in this school.
My co-pilot, you mean?
Yeah.
If I were, just to clarify, I'm not a pilot. I've never been a pilot, but in another life, I suppose I would have liked to have been a pilot. Maybe one day I will be a pilot. Who would be a good pilot, co-pilot, other than Emilio? Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And who would you pick as a pilot in this school?
I think I'll pick Miss Barrier.
That is.
What is a world issue that you feel passionately about?
Oh, that's a good question. What is a world issue that I feel passionate about? Well, we've talked a bit about health and exercise, which is important. And I suppose the big issue which I feel passionate about on top of that would be the environment, and doing my bit to reduce emissions, carbon emissions, so we have a safe and future-proof planet for the next generation.
Well, time flies when we're having so much fun. Thank you so much for your time today. We know how busy you are, so we'll let you on your way.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mrs. Stenning.
Thank you.
Thank you.